Hey, then welcome. Been prepping for the raid release in World of Warcraft tomorrow. Oh, well, good luck with that. Doing a bit of a lurkerino. Alright, Salaminator, thank you for coming by and lurking. Hope you are having a nice day as well. So we're going to be continuing Rogue Trader. Last time we finished the Electrodynamic Cenobium, aka the Adeptus Mechanicus Monastery. Hey Nittler, welcome! And today we are making the choice between visiting the governor again, or what I think we're going to do, which is visit the Navis Nobilitae station to try and get ourselves a new astropath. Or a new navigator, I should say. We got everything sorted out, so we can just go straight into the next mission. There's the astropathic station, which I think we're going to do, but there's also unexplored planet, whatever that is. Rykard Majoris. I mean, we have some options, but I think we're going to go, just for now, do what the game tells us. And what the game tells us, at least for the time being, is to go here and talk to the navigators. The astropathic station is dead ahead of the void ship. It is motionless. There is lifeless silence across its vox frequencies. Its lights are out. Even those who have no warp sensitivity can feel the presence of death. It is here, lurking in the shadows. All of this makes reading the reports of the ship's astropaths, who claim to be hearing an incessant ghostly howl emanating from the station, all the more disturbing. Right, let's start by contacting the station by Vox. Station is not reporting. Perhaps there is no one left who would respond. Right, deploy a scouting team. The enforcers offered their prayers and proceeded to enter the uncanny station. What they saw inside was monstrous. Astropaths upon their thrones, not quite here, not quite now, smudged, as it were, across time. Servants reliving their horrible deaths again and again, only to be reborn out of ashes and blood into more agony a moment later. The warp manifested itself here, twisting the very nature of existence. The main hall was covered in a crust of psychic ice. A green-robed, blind old man sat motionless upon a tall throne. He was quite literally embedded in the ice, yet he was still alive and screaming. Who is Zachary Weiss again? I don't remember who that is. Anyway, let's send him to the station with a squad of bodyguards. Oh, he's my choir master. Okay. Choir Master Weiss boarded the station in person and proceeded to the choir's hall. He stood silently for hours in front of a man frozen in ice and held a telepathic conversation with him. Then Master Weiss offered a prayer unto the God Emperor, and the unfortunate man passed away. Upon returning to the ship, Weiss reverently presented the Lord Captain with a grim trophy, the late choir master's amulet, taken from his frozen body after his death. Got a new item. Ooh, that seems really helpful. Gains immunity to the horrors of the warp effect. The psychic shriek carrying across the immaterium has been silenced, but this has brought the crew no relief. A chilling realization came to the astropaths when they discovered that the cry was masking a different sound, one even more terrifying and surreal. It was the melody of a cataclysm born from a warp storm of titanic power, so intense that the entire expanse must be able to hear it. It muffles astropathic messages and crawls into psychers' minds, evoking everywhere the same image. A dark, gaping, beastly mouth cleaving the universe in two. So that would be the Cicatrix Maledictum. Now that the mad choirmaster has finally stopped screaming, the song of the Immaterium has reached the rogue trader's void ship too. Order the station to be explored. A brief and chilling chronicle of the station's doom was found in the scribe's records. A warp disturbance of monstrous proportions wiped out half of the choir at once, turning the astropaths into living portals through which torrents of the Immaterium's energies poured out. Those who lasted longer bellowed and howled about a black rift that had split the universe into before and after, and a darkness that would devour the Astronomicon's light. Alright, burn everything. Void torpedoes shatter the fragile station. One can only hope that the unfortunate souls captured by the warp have perished along with their home. So which one was the... Because I thought that was the navigator station, but I guess not. Navigability station. Kibdilos, welcome. Urak 5. So this is the Navis Nobility Station. Alright, let's go there. Boxmaster Victus. Lord Captain, sorry to disturb you. Victus pauses, as if listening to something. It's pandemonium outside the bridge gate. One of the officers seems to be demanding an audience with you in person. I think I hear Master Wersarian's voice. In any case, I wanted to warn you in advance. Oh, what have we here? What does Abelard want? The everyday sounds of the bridge are disrupted by voices raised in anger, Abelard's voice loudest of all. This is not the conduct of an officer! These are the antics of a high-born brat out on a lark! Explain yourself, Lieutenant! The young woman standing before Abelard strives with all her might not to quail under the onslaught of her superior's anger. She falters, but then manages to look him in the eye and say, I apologize, sir, but I must speak to the Lord Captain. Very well, Lieutenant. You may address the Lord Captain, not least because I see you have already seen fit to disturb her. Your unauthorized appearance on the bridge and display of belligerence towards a higher-ranking officer will be logged on your personal file without delay. Lord Captain, Lieutenant Avril Avent requesting permission to speak. And falls silent and then adds rashly, on a matter of extreme importance and urgency. You may speak, but I want to hear a report, not a shouting match. Having two officers bickering in full view of the bridge is unacceptable. I am sorry, Lord Captain. I thought that drastic times called for drastic measures, Avent exclaims hotly. This matter cannot wait. Any minute now, an assault unit will be dispatched to the lower decks on order to crush the workers' strike by any means necessary. But I am convinced that this step is unwarranted and that the crisis itself was provoked. by the actions of one of the senior officers. Bent is almost trembling with tension as she delivers her speech, her face extremely pale. Abelard, in no hurry to intervene, lets out a skeptical huff. He glances at Sourback, who is standing not far from him, but she maintains a stony expression. Lord Captain, I urge you to investigate the actions of Seneschal Wessarian, and to intervene in what's happening on the lower decks, because very soon we will have a mutiny or a massacre on our hands. Bent reels off the last words, as though she knows them by heart. She has clearly been preparing to say them for some time. When she is finished, she casts an anxious glance at Abelard, then at you. There's an insurrection in the making on my ship, and no one has informed me? I would not deem it a problem worthy of the rogue trader's attention. The lower decks, as it so happens, are in revolt. 30-some years ago, we even had a revolutionary leader rise up who dared to establish workers' rules across the entire ship. It took a month to restore order, but even 8 years later we were still battling rumors that the hero had survived his execution and was on the verge of gathering people to fight against tyranny once more. Needless to say, the rumors were baseless. As for the current situation, we have sufficient enforcers to deal with it. But on this ship, the word of the Lord Captain carries more weight than a salvo from 100 bolters. I am sure that if the rogue trader addresses the malcontents directly, she will quell the unrest. I dread to think what problem you will disturb the rogue trader with next. Perhaps you will ask the Lord Captain to break up brawls in the mess room? I have already given you the means to resolve this problem. You simply need to use them. If I may, your lordship. If I may, your ladyship, sending a hit squad to crush the rebellion is a means of ignoring the problem, not solving it. Honestly, I kind of side with her. How did this all start? The situation could boil over any minute, so I'll give you the condensed version. It all began when the enforcers found a cultist amulet on the body of someone who'd been killed in a drunken brawl. We reported it up the chain immediately, arranged for a cleansing rite to be performed, and opened an investigation. No heretic has been found alive, but the search has brought tensions between enforcers and workers to a head. She makes good arguments. Yeah, I agree. And where does Seneschal Wessarian come into all this? I shall explain. I beg you to hurry. Time is running out. I will not hurry. Since my competence is under scrutiny, I shall speak for as long as I see fit. There is an established order to the way things are done on this ship, and one of the pillars of that system is that the rogue trader's attention is not distracted by trivial matters. It is the Seneschal's role to ensure that. I have always handled internal problems myself, so, of course, when I received information about cultists hiding on the lower deck, I took the matter in hand. So long as I live, not one of the vermin who murdered Theodora von Valancius will find refuge on her ship. You know what? I think this might be a DLC. I think this might be one of the DLCs I bought. You were far too heavy-handed, Seneschal Wessarian. Arrests, interrogations, mass punishments for entire sectors? It has driven the people to the brink. Now there's a strike on the lower decks, in Depot 4 to be precise. 3 worker clans are involved, but many more are passively supporting them. The situation could degenerate into an all-out insurrection. But when I reported my concerns, the only response I received was an order to dispatch an assault and crush the strike with maximum force. Abelard, what do you have to say? I see no need to add anything. I acted within the remit of my authority, guided exclusively by the best interests of your protectorate and your personal safety. If you wish to confirm the rectitude of my actions for yourself, I have no objections. For my part, I urge the Lord Captain to go down to the lower decks, stop the assault unit, and speak directly to the people. You will see that they are not lying or harboring heretics. That way you will stop the uprising before it begins. Again, she makes good points. And I am trying to go the iconoclast kind of hero of the people route, so I will definitely be going to do this. So what is Depot 4? Depot 4 is one of the poorest sections of the lower decks. It is home to clans of general laborers. They are not as valuable to the ships as the families who have served its specialized systems for generations. They are an easily replaceable resource, and one which is now more besides giving succor to cultists and minions of the arch enemy. Depot 4 is poor and troubled, but at worst that means drunken fights and illegal rotgut brewing. We have handled the workers of Depot 4 in the past. We would have done so again, if the crackdown on Depot 4 hadn't been so harsh. And another important point to bear in mind, the problem is not limited to this sector. It's located on one of the most populated lower decks, and everything that happens there has a knock-on effect on all the neighboring sectors. Master-at-Arms, the ship's enforcers report to you, and yet you seem hesitant to provide your own perspective. Lord Captain, unlike Lieutenant Vent, I respect the chain of command and realize it is not within my right to challenge my superiors. Sauerback bows her head in Abelard's direction. However, a moment later, a serpentine smile appears on her lips. That being said, while I entirely share Master Warsarian's opinion on what fate Depot 4 deserves, I must note that this insubordination is a direct consequence of practices that he himself has introduced. Abelard seems to be a bit colored. You know what I think it is, Salaminator? Here's my theory. I think he had a lot of affection for my predecessor, Theodora. I think he took her death badly, even though he's not showing it. And I think that is making him overly zealous at stamping out any sign, anything that even smells faintly of treason or heresy. He is overcommitting to stamping it out as a way of processing his own feelings of grief and possibly his own feelings of inadequacy at not being able to save her. That's the way I'm reading this situation. Like, yes, we should stamp out heresy, but he is overzealous and overly aggressive because he is in pain, and this is his only way of processing that, because he doesn't have healthy emotional outlets. Mistress Sauerback, I see you have decided to follow the lieutenant's example after all. Such behavior does you no credit. Sauerback, explain yourself. The ship's regulations state that the Master-at-Arms is responsible for resolving all matters related to the ship's enforcers. And yet, it is no secret that the Seneschal has a tendency to show partiality. Those enforcers and officers whom he has deemed particularly promising are at times given permission to approach him for tutelage. I cannot deny Master Warsarian's experience and insight. The Seneschal has a record of fostering students who have indeed achieved much and demonstrated impeccable performance. However, extending such patronage over the head of their immediate superior encourages disregard for hierarchy among your ladyship's servants. Today, an enforcer goes to the Seneschal to report an order from the Master-at-Arms that they happen to disagree with. Tomorrow, they will go to the Lord Captain to object to the Seneschal's orders. I notice a pattern in these actions. Right. Abelard, do you wish to respond? Mr. Sauerback, can you recall an occasion where I would encourage an officer to disobey their superior? Or one where I would overrule their order? Or show favoritism to those who merited none? None, Seneschal, for there have been no such cases in the entire time I have served aboard this ship. If anyone were to claim otherwise, I would have them pay for insulting your honor with blood. Your conduct in this regard have always been spotless. Nevertheless, given your eminent position, a simple show of attention on your part is enough to erode the propriety of junior officers, inflate their sense of self-importance, and undermine discipline. That you distinguish some of them and know them by name is tantamount to walking around the officers' deck handing out gifts to officers who have caught your eye. It fills those you set apart with ambition and audacity, makes them stand out among the rest. Enforcers are meant to be faceless servants, fighters ready to die, their fate entrusted to their commander and no one else. That is the sole foundation of order. Lieutenant Vent. Intrigue around the throne. Love it. I love it. This is basically politics. I want more of this in my game. Lieutenant Vent, would you say the Seneschal has singled you out from your peers in any way? Lord Captain, I swear that Seneschal Wasserian has never granted me any privileges, never once advocated for me, nor facilitated my promotions. Although, he is the man who convinced me to become an officer in the first place. He has offered me extensive guidance in my service, for which I am grateful to him. And while not all my fellows receive such attention, I know of at least a dozen fine officers whom the Seneschal keeps in his sights to ensure they continue to strive. To prepare new generations of the dynasty's servants, to instruct them, and to separate those with potential from those who have exhausted it. That is my duty as Seneschal. This ship has bays worth of pilots, enforcers, officers, technicians, and stewards whom I have raised personally. By the throne, every third person standing on this bridge right now was my student at one point. Both sides make sense from their point of view. Yeah, I agree, Kiptilus. Both sides do make sense. I see. Evidently, my officers are anything but a shining example of unity and adherence today. I have only myself to blame, I suppose. I'm not gonna completely throw Abelard under the bus because I actually like Abelard, so I'm going to pick option 4. I'm certain the Seneschal was acting within his authority, but I will verify the soundness of his decisions for myself. Throne preserve you, Lord Captain. Thank you for your support. Abelard grits his teeth slightly. An enterprise bordering on the sophomoric, but please yourself, Lord Captain. However, I categorically insist that I escort you. Oh, Abelard, I wouldn't have it any other way. Lord Captain, I regret that the enforcers were unable to handle the situation, which then led to your and the Seneschal's involvement. I consider it my duty to go to Depot 4 myself and see to the expedient resolution of this incident. Choose party members. Yay! I mean, I can just have the full squad because I don't have any more. What does sophomoric mean? Actually not sure. I know a sophomore is a certain rank. Pretentious or juvenile? Says a quick Google. And for some reason, also a sophomore. Sophomore is a second-year student in a university, which I don't know how that works out. Anyway, we have ads about to start. I'm gonna finish my monster, go pee, and grab a new monster, and then we will be right back. So I will see you all in 3 to 4 minutes. I am back. However, ads will be going for another couple of minutes, so we're just going to sit here and chill out. So if you didn't already, now is a good time to go grab a drink or a snack, relieve yourself, whatever you need to do. And yeah, Abelard is showing a bit of lip. I like it though. I like it. Can I change the order? No. Seems like they're locked into that order. So I have 2 tanks and 2 dedicated DPS, 1 kind of support DPS, and my main character, which is mainly support. I will say, this game, I am definitely going to replay this game off stream. I want to try different characters, different builds. I want to try going full dogmatic. I want to try going full heretic. I want to try out some of the options in this game, and you can't do everything in just one playthrough. You played this, right, Salaminator? I seem to remember you said you were playing this with your boyfriend, right, in co-op? Did you play it all the way through? Nope. Did you give up on the playthrough, or is it just still ongoing? If has played it one time and loved it. Not because it wasn't good, just too overwhelming. Fair. It is quite the mouthful. Lower deck rabble. It doesn't vibe with my personal philosophy of life, but as far as fiction goes, I do like how classist and crass this society is. You did miss a lot because you were kind of a rule-abiding citizen, but I mean, that's a fun way to go. Alright, this definitely needs to change. Like so, I think. Is that a cutscene? Might have done a few things that did not allow you to get all the companions. It's Rosarian. Take that, scum! Oh, look at that. Abelard reflexively wipes the sweat from his brow in a startlingly human gesture. And a telling one. A rare moment where he allows his age and weariness to show through his armor-like veneer of self-assurance. The lower decks are a source of endless problems. Sometimes I dearly regret that we cannot replace all the locals with servitors. Did you hear? They were shouting your name. Of course they were. The organization of the daily routine life of the ship rests on my shoulders. The mounting challenges and problems from which I endeavor to insulate you, Lord Captain. The situation on the lower decks has been a cause for concern, and I have intervened personally on more than one occasion. That must be why they remember me. They do not know your face. To them, you are akin to a creature of legend, one who has stood on the steps of the Golden Throne, no less. Whereas I am the man whose name is attached to every order docking rations or lowering a bay's heating. Several things you're experiencing are slightly different from my experience, or even missing. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, you know, I definitely want to replay this. Once I finish this on stream, I will probably start a second off stream playthrough. Well, let's keep it moving. Something, a nest made out of thermal insulation material. This must be where the workers sleep between shifts. Can I not talk directly to any of these? No. It's not an option. We have these valves. Not sure what I should do with them. Probably nothing yet, maybe later on.
And you are here also, esteemed Master Van Callox. Does the Inquisition never sleep?
It is in our collective interest to ensure that the rogue trader does not accidentally meet her demise in the bowels of her own ship. Wouldn't you agree, Seneschal?
Last time you did, playing until like 4 or 5 in the morning with work and 2 children, that complicates things. I see. Yeah, I agree. Huge pipes, arteries of the ship run through the many bays, delivering air, water, heat, and the propulsive force of steam. Sounds of a heated discussion reverberate through the ship's bays. Lieutenant Avrilla Vent of the ship's enforcers is barring the path of her superior, Master-at-Arms Jocasta Sauerback, who has arrived clad in armor. Judging by their expression and tone, the standoff has dragged on for some time already and has now reached a boiling point. Lieutenant Vent, my patience is wearing thin. I have given you an order. Now get out of my way. I cannot comply with that order, ma'am. Vent looks shaken, but there is fire in her eyes. This is my deck and my sector. So long as this area remains under the Lord Captain's special oversight, no action can be taken without my express permission. There are only 3 people who are authorized to make me stand down. The first officer, the rogue trader, and the Emperor himself. Ooh. So not all my lessons fall on deaf ears, Abelard mutters in crabby approval. He does not clarify whether he means Vent or Sauerback looming over her. Whether he means Vent, Sauerback looming over her, or both. Your ladyship. Noticing you, the 2 officers snap to attention and salute, their subordinates following suit a moment later. I can just go down and say, I give the assault unit permission to open fire. We will crush the seas of insurrection with full force. Let's get abreast of the situation first. What's the situation? Your ladyship, my people have locked down the bay where the strikers are, including their leaders. We have the situation under control as far as resources allow. Under control, Lieutenant? I came here to lead an investigative unit, and what do I see? The rebel is on the verge of mutiny. There's nothing to investigate. This simply calls for immediate repressions and firing squads. And you, Vent, are a step away from facing charges yourself. I stabbed my toe, rogue trader. Answer, Exterminatus. Speaking of Exterminatus, this game was a big enough success. I saw the trailer for this, the reveal trailer, at the Game Awards last year. No, earlier this year. This game was a big enough success that Owlcat are doing a second Warhammer 40,000 RPG. But this one, rather than Rogue Trader 2, they are doing Dark Heresy. which means you will actually be playing as a member of the Inquisition. I am also very much looking forward to that. We encountered some locals on our way here. Their conduct was outrageous. They even tried to throw things at us. Ben's gaze is full of worry and regret. The people are getting desperate, clearly. They saw the assault unit and they decided they had nothing left to lose. I mean, I apologize, Lord Captain. It is outrageous. I'm sure the people simply didn't recognize you. It wouldn't have occurred otherwise. We will deal with them once the current situation is resolved. I want to speak to the strikers. Abelard's mouth twists, but he restrains himself and says nothing. Right you are, Lord Captain. Allow me to wish you good luck. Hope gleams in Lieutenant Vent's eyes. Is it telling that I am still looking for loot, even though I am literally on my own ship and anything I manage to find would already be mine? A dozen pair of eyes stare apprehensively at you. The people before you are typical inhabitants of the lower decks. You take in their simple clothing, crude weapons, and faces that display varying levels of mutation, from the barely discernible to the strange to the outright grotesque. Oh, that guy looks kind of like Zod. Rivet. A whisper passes through the crowd, and you detect a mixture of fear, astonishment, and joy in their reactions. Finally, 3 people break away from the crowd. An elderly woman and 2 men. These must be their leaders. They bow clumsily before you. Lord Captain, you have come down to us. Tell me what is troubling you. Why are you striking? Striking? That's news to us, your ladyship, says a tall, thin man in worker's garb. All we're doing is asking questions, saying what we think. Shut up, Rivet, snaps the old woman, who turns her hostile dark eyes on you. Here's the deal, your ladyship. Your damned enforcers are all over us down here. They say they're looking for cultists. One wrong word and they're reaching for their batons. If they want to punish someone, they turn off the heating to whole bays for weeks at a time so we get sick and freeze. In my clan, 2 little ones died from inflammation in their lungs, all because of those enforcers. Puh! Woman spits on the floor and rubs at the spittle with the toe of her worn-out shoe. Argenta does not interrupt the workers, but you see the sadness well in her eyes when the children's deaths are mentioned. She quietly whispers a requiem prayer and makes a sign over herself. It's all true. Vent's the only enforcer officer who ever stood up for us. It's clear as day who had a mother from the lower decks and who grew up amidships and had no feelings towards us. The grim man with a scarred face throws up his arms. Your ladyship, we're no villains here. We're honest workers, your servants. We've plotted no disorder, we went on strike openly, and now we've got guns pointed at us. All we're doing is asking to be allowed to work in peace without being harassed. Even in Rome they knew a healthy slave was a better slave. Yeah, absolutely. The persecution started apropos of nothing, you say? I was told that one of you was found in possession of a cultist amulet, and that there are heretics hiding here. A cultist amulet? What's that? The gewgaw they found on the dead drunkard? If it was something evil or forbidden, we sure didn't know. The enforcers just said they were looking for heretics among us, and anyone obstructing their investigation would be punished. But how could there be heretics here? We know our own people. There have been no new faces around. Definitely not, and if there were, we'd be the first to report them. And as for this amulet, or whatever it is, they took it off a dead body. There are no cultists still breathing in our sector, that's for sure. But when that fight broke out, some enterprising folks looted the bodies. The boots they came back with. Nobody's ever tread these decks in boots so fine, I can tell you that. Seems to me these cultists have better commanders than us. Oh yeah, those boots were really fine, and there was no harm in taking them, right? As for the amulet, it must have been pocketed by someone who didn't know any better. We don't need any amulets down here. We all worship the Emperor, and when we're working, we bow down before the machine spirits of the large and small transformers and the servo motor. Same way my grandfather was taught 100 years ago by a tech priest who came calling. Believe us, your ladyship, we are people of faith. I confirm the information regarding the proper tending of the machine spirits in this sector. Servitors indicate that these commoners are performing the sacraments they are permitted to know. Naive children, weren't you taught from an early age about the dangers of the archenemy's creations? Weren't you warned that any unfamiliar object could be one of them? We were told, Holy Sister, but it was a long time ago. The last time we saw a confessor in our sector, it was just after I had my third little one. That is regrettable, but you cannot lay the burden of leading a righteous life on the shoulder of the Holy Fathers. Who will you blame when beasts crawl out of those amulets you stole from the heretics? The Holy Father who was not there? Or the scavenger who brought evil down on himself and his neighbors? Abelard, do you have anything to add? I authorize the use of all necessary measures to locate Chaos worshippers hiding in this sector. The specific steps taken by the officers were not reported to me. Abelard frowns, clearly disgruntled at having to explain himself in the workers' presence. Nevertheless, I am certain that their actions were justified. Cultists are no drunken stevedores. Stevedores? I am not familiar with that word. I'm just going to look it up. A stevedore, I think. Stevedore is a person employed at a dock to load and unload ships. Got it. Stevedore. Cultists are no drunken stevedores. They are the enemy and a threat to the ship. Neutralizing them demands decisive action. Sourback, was it really necessary to torture these people with cold? The rabble understands only one language, Lord Captain, that of violence. As per regulations, should the laborers persist in their unwillingness to cooperate, the next step is limiting air supply and cutting off water, which is almost certain to restore order. The peasants can grumble all they want, but in the end, they are the source of their own misery. All they have to do is bow their heads and fall in line, and the need for punitive measures will disappear. That is disgusting. That is absolutely vile. Gaming, welcome! It is going well. We are trying to quell a fomenting insurrection aboard our own ship. We were attacked on the way here. How do you explain that? Here's an explanation for you. The people have been pushed to their limit and now they're lashing out. As if we don't know why these top deck units are being sent down here. Like that one there that the lieutenant won't let past. Our clans are all inside the bay that's been sealed off, but the lower decks are big. I'm sure there are some people who've had just about enough. We're getting it from all sides. The soldiers have encircled the ones who've risen up. A death squad has just arrived. It's no wonder folks are lashing out. Awareness test succeeded. Their words seem sincere to you. Their body language and the glances traded between them reveal that the news of the attack had shocked them. Alright, what changes do you want? Would you look at this? The exalted Lord Captain herself is asking us bilge rats what we want. Well, here's what. We want you to rein in your damned enforcers, to quit turning off the heat and stop battering everything that moves. No, that's not it. We want the enforcers gone from here and we want to be armed. Give us arms and we'll govern ourselves. We'll defend ourselves if these cultists do show their faces. I've been leader of my clan for 20 years now. Getting rid of these club-wielding thugs can only improve things around here. You've gone too far, old Nan. They'll never let the maggots on the lower decks live without the enforcers breathing down their necks. They probably even insist on enforcers on the upper decks, too. As for weapons, what do we need them for? Before the first day's out, we'll have someone shooting their neighbor out of stupidity or drunkenness. We don't need that. If the enforcers stop hassling us, that'll be enough. In return, we'll find the scavengers who robbed the cultist bodies, and we'll talk to them, one lower decker to another. If there are any more of those damned amulets about, we'll hand them over to the enforcers ourselves. Stager seems very reasonable. You speak for yourself and your clan, and I'll speak for me and mine. I don't want empty gestures. I want real change. They'll promise us the world now, but as soon as the Anointed One turns her back, these brutes will be on us even harder than before, all because we dared to speak out. The tall worker's eyes dart between the two arguing leaders. Every few seconds he opens his mouth as if planning to agree, but each time he falls silent, simply making a few vague noises of approval. I am definitely not going to arm them and withdraw the enforcers. Spreading anarchy on the ship is the first step toward embracing chaos. Putting weapons into untrained hands would be even worse. What's more, the enforcers are needed to maintain oversight and order. Withdraw those demands, and we will consider the rest. The tall worker they call Rivet shrugs and casts a sidelong look at the old woman. Old Nan, listen, listen. The Lord Captain herself has come down to us and is offering concessions. And I don't know a single person in the whole of Depot 4 who's ever stood next to the rogue trader, let alone talk to them. Back down. Now's no time for you to be a stubborn old crone. Listen to us, old Nan. The 3 clans of Depot 4 ought to act as one. We've made our minds up. It's your turn to decide. Don't ask them to disband the enforcers or give us weapons. We don't need any of that. The old woman hisses in dissatisfaction. You two are ganging up on me, is that it? So brave you are against an old woman. But I'll shut up. I will indeed. I won't go against 2 clan leaders on my own. If you want to make peace with the enforcers, make your peace. That's great, just fantastic. Lord Captain, we're all agreed. Thoughts, Abelard? The story about going scavenging for boots and accidentally picking up a heretical amulet doesn't convince me. These people were moments away from rebelling and possibly becoming minions of the archenemy. We must not give them what they want. Even if they did acquire something innocently, purely out of their own stupidity, that does not mean they are not tainted with corruption. He says to the person who is quietly and secretly assembling the parts to an Eldar origin demon blade. But let's not talk about that. What begins as petty thievery can turn into far graver problem. I have seen it before. Abelard's face darkens momentarily. In my second war, there was a sergeant in the Imperial Guard regiment that was stationed nearby. The sergeant took an ordinary pocket knife from the body of a heretic, and his whole unit lost their lives for it. When they finally managed to break into the barracks, they found not a single survivor, only the pocket knife, which had grown through all the rows of beds like a metal-choking vine. So when it comes to scavengers, malcontents, strikers, or whatever they'll turn into next, my verdict is simple. Give them no quarter. Master-at-Arms, where do you stand? Give the rabble a grox and they'll take an agri-world, Lord Captain. They only understand brute force and will interpret any concession as a sign of weakness. Giving them weapons and recalling the enforcers would be folly. It would only be a matter of time before we had a full-scale mutiny on our hands. Yeah, I agree with that. But I am going to go for the compromise. But I'm definitely doing a playthrough where I'm going to go dogmatic and I'm just going to execute anyone who gives me even the slightest amount of lip. Because that sounds like fun as well. Then it is decided. The persecution will stop, and I will expect you to assist in locating any remaining amulets or weapons left by the cultists. Your ladyship, thank you. You have not abandoned us lower deckers. You came yourself and settled everything. I will tell my grandchildren about this. Removed cargo? I guess this had some costs. Of course, your ladyship. We'll root out any nasty business faster than the enforcers, and we'll leave no stone unturned. Hail the Lord Captain! Well, I guess we can go back upper deck, but I want to have a further look. This page is where the start of each shift is marked. The last mark is missing. The workers went on strike. Oh, I see. Yeah. Heat sink warms the air around it to a scorching temperature. This is the warmest part of the bay. Workers have even dragged deck chairs here. That's smart. Got some valves. Again, I'm not gonna mess with the valves. I don't see any reason to. I guess we're done. Abelard. Stopping unexpectedly, Abelard imperiously dismisses the unit to stand at a distance and addresses your other companion, saying, I have an urgent matter to discuss with the Lord Captain. Please give us a moment. Abelard looks at you, and his last vestiges of restraint vanish. Well, are you pleased with your investigation, Lord Captain? You kowtowed to the disloyal rabble. You believed their lies and showed them leniency. Next time the ship is attacked by cultists, that rabble will welcome them with open arms and allow them to wreak whatever havoc they like because they see you as a weak leader. Is that how you see your future at the helm of the Von Valancius Protectorate? I am surprised he is bold enough to do this. I will go with 3. There is some truth to your criticism. I should say so. Abelard heaves a sigh, but he visibly relaxes. You simply needed to trust me. I would have handled the situation myself had you not decided to intervene, Abelard says irascibly. Remember Lord Captain Theodora. Do you think she even set one slippered foot on the lower decks? No, she did not. Such matters were left to myself and the junior officers while she dedicated herself to her grand designs for the Protectorate, as any true strategist and rogue trader ought. Just pissed about the change of leadership styles? Yeah, exactly. Ooh, the first one is very harsh. I will say it, though. Maybe if Theodora has spent more time on trifling matters, she wouldn't have wound up dead. There's a new Lord Captain aboard this ship now, and I will not repeat her mistake. Abelard looks at you stunned and exhales loudly. Then he nods curtly. I commend your decisiveness, but I am uncomfortable with introducing new protocols in the midst of a crisis. And Abelard stands straight at attention. I lost my temper, Lord Captain, and I believe I ought to explain myself. Abelard speaks slowly, the words not coming easy to him. The prosperity of the Von Valancius Protectorate is not just an empty phrase to me. I left the Imperial Navy for the chance to see it flourish. It was the most momentous decision of my life. I did it because I saw in Lord Captain Theodora's deeds the signs of true greatness. Rogue traders do not simply forge new routes and capture worlds. They create order out of anarchy. That creative impulse was entirely lacking during my time in the military. So I left behind everything I had known, everything my family had known. I come from a long line of officers, and I embarked upon this incredibly reckless venture. Lord Captain Theodora entrusted me with all the concerns she had no time for. She would go off on her flagship for long periods to distant frontiers on scouting voyages, and the advancement of the entire Protectorate rested on my shoulders. And then suddenly, everything that had been built over years and years began to quake, rattling like a flimsy hangar on a seismically active world. One of the senior officers betrayed us all. The rogue trader was killed, and who knows what is happening on the planets. I tell you this honestly, without fear of appearing weak. All this has come as a grievous blow to me. I am not panicking or grieving because I cannot allow myself to panic or grieve. I am duty-bound to aid the new rogue trader, to aid you, to find your footing as quickly as possible. And to do that, I must insulate you from problems that in the past have been dealt with by tried and tested procedures set out in the ship's regulations. Procedures that were established long ago and have functioned smoothly for decades cannot suddenly be deemed excess to requirements. Okay. I value what Theodora created, and I trust that this situation is an aberration in the ship's otherwise smooth operation. Since the established procedures are working, I see no reason to change them. Abelard dips his head in a sign of assent. Shadow of his incredible strain, which evidently had been wearing on him for some time, finally lifts from his face. I am glad you see the value in the foundation laid down by your illustrious predecessor. Why fix what isn't broken? As for me, I shall endeavor not to cause you any further consternation, Lord Captain. And now, please let us leave the lower decks. If the rogue trader desires to stretch her legs, there are far more suitable places.
Follow my lead.
I will change those regulations, though. But I will do it at a more peaceful time, more gradually, and that is probably not within the scope of this game. Now then, I was on my way somewhere. Lord Captain reporting. The heralds of the Navis nobility continue to maintain Vox silence. Perhaps due to Urak 5 being off-limits to visitors, we intercepted signals from the beacons drifting in the station's orbits. The demands are clear. We are told to turn the ship around immediately. We have also detected an accumulation of space debris near the station's docks. Presumably, it is the remains of interplanetary shuttles. Perhaps the esteemed Navis Nobility House requires aid and therefore cannot respond to our Vox transmissions. Being a good guy means breaking the rules, so we should all break the rules. To a certain degree. If the rules are bad, which I believe in this case they are, they need to be changed. But I just took up this position, and this is a very tenuous point, both in my position and for the House with the ongoing crisis. So I believe I don't have the stability right now to just start ripping everything up with roots and burning down anything I don't like. I have decades, and I'm going to make changes over those decades to make things better, is what I'm thinking in my head, from a role-playing point of view. Order the auger crew to scan the station. Yes, Lord Captain. The Vox remains silent for a while, but then you hear static and Victus's measured voice. The officers from the auger crew performed a full scan of the station, but the information is imprecise. They note wave distortions of unclear genesis that are throwing off most of the readings. We are able to ascertain that the reactor core of the station is still active, but many compartments are unpowered and some fully depressurized. The signs of biological activity are largely present in the central module, which means the station has not been abandoned. So the question remains, why are the esteemed navigators' heralds ignoring us? Contact the station again. I will negotiate personally. The box relays the cadence sound of grinding gears and clicking tumblers. I am sorry, Lord Captain. The station does not reply even after an official greeting by a rogue trader and the declaration of your intent to negotiate in person. Very well. Order the crew to commence docking with the station. Affirmative, Lord Captain. We do not know what is happening at the station, so you will have to look for the esteemed navigators blind. Dock safely, and may the God Emperor light your path. So since I was picking a full party to go down into the lower decks, I wonder if it could actually have devolved into combat if I made different choices. I'm assuming yes. I'm assuming if I had given the order to just execute them all, it would actually have turned into a fight.
Pathetic worm. You dare to argue with your master?
It was not you whom I swore to serve within these walls. My lips are sealed.
Confess! What was the old man's last command? What are you planning?
Give up, Keeper. You have lost this battle. Again.
We're getting nowhere with these ones, sir. Permission to execute them.
Seems like they're having an internal dispute. Master, we have some strange guests on the station. Wow, they just let me walk right up on that. Felix Orselio. A tall man stops you with a gesture when you approach. Blood is trickling down the pearly scales of his weary face. And not just his own blood. Two jet-black, unblinking eyes are watching your every move, and the third one, the mark of a navigator's fate, is menacingly pulsing behind the lowered lid in the middle of his forehead. Step back, or I will unleash all the horrors of the Sea of Souls upon you. Emperor, be my witness. Ooh, I can answer in High Gothic. Abelard, if you would be so kind. Yeah, I'm gonna answer in High Gothic. I am rogue trader Theophania von Valancius, and I am no enemy of the Navis nobility. This system has been under the protection of the Winterscale dynasty for many years. Admittedly, I did not expect to meet another rogue trader in my lifetime, let alone one of noble blood. That's because I chose the noble as my background. And since fate has brought such an important person into my abode, allow me to introduce myself. Before you stands Felix Christoph August, keeper of this station. So, you did not come to offer support to the traitors. This is great news. Having said that, you must understand that Urak 5 is a holy sanctum for House Orselio, and the path to it is only revealed to a select few. It pains me to say that you are not on the guest list. The navigator looks at his guards and winces. The soldiers are quivering as if their tormented flesh were being flayed, yet they keep clutching their weapons. Why would a keeper of the station command vile mutants condemned by the Emperor? The blame lies with Theobald Orselio, the second keeper of Urak 5. The old man was a great navigator, but he could no longer control his powers. I begged him to retire, but he was too obsessed with our mistress, Lady Cassia. His madness and stubbornness spelled doom for the entire station, for he opened his third eye in a fit of rage and unleashed the horrors of the warp on those who displeased him. The Theobald I knew would never have used his powers in such a reckless manner. This will be difficult to explain to the uninitiated, but I'm going to try. The warp currents in the system have been tumultuous for dozens of cycles, and have worn the veil between our world and the immaterium thin and frail, at least here on the station. The ruinous powers are trying to tear it down completely and corrupt all living things. The servants were the first to fall victim to it. Oh, their bodies morphed, and pain and despair drove the poor souls mad. The lunatics took my mistress prisoner and almost destroyed the station. I rallied the few who still followed the light of the Golden Throne to set things right. The Lord Navigator here is speaking the unvarnished truth. I bet this station is full of voices and whispers, all trying to break through from the other side, waiting for you to reach out and swing the door right wide open. The suffocating grip of the immaterium can be felt across the entire system. It is not surprising the veil grew thin here of all places. The Navis nobility can command the warp currents, but the use of their abilities wear down the barrier between the two worlds. I sincerely hope the influence of the immaterium has not yet affected your body and your soul. With all due respect, I advise you not to remain at the station. Return to your void ship. I need to save Lady Cassia. If you are not willing to help, or indeed risk your life, you must leave now. I can just abduct him. Wow. What kind of help are you talking about? I would never ask you for such a favor under different circumstances, and yet... Velek takes his hand away from his ribcage, notices blood, and winces in pain. And yet Lady Cassia's well-being is above all. I haven't got many people left, and my wounds are too deep for me to act with precision and swiftness. But you may actually succeed. In order to ascend to the mistress's chambers, you will need to remake a holy relic sanctified with the blood of Lady Orselio herself. This is the control rod of the elevator machine spirit. I have one part, and the other was lost during the mutiny. But even this relic will be of no use unless the elevator mechanism is powered. The Lord Captain declares yoink. I'm assuming it wouldn't go well. I'm assuming it would come to combat. So how do I remake the control rod? I have a phylactery containing the mistress's blood. It needs to be taken to the laboratory, which is located behind one of the reliquary doors. The most ancient of sacred mechanisms will help to rebuild the rod. The tech priests ceaselessly perform the rites of appeasement so that the machine spirit would serve the house in its time of need. The fateful hour is now upon us. Pascal excitedly reaches for a data slate. requesting access to the object's data crypt. The Novus Nobilitae use independent modifications of standard sanguinary technologies due to the uniqueness of the genetic code inherent in the lineage of each house. Felix looks exhausted, but arrogant resolve bolsters his voice. And these technologies were made secret for a reason. I must respectfully decline your request, esteemed servant of the Omnissiah. You have your sacraments, and we have ours. So how am I supposed to power the elevator? The station's main cogitator is situated in the guard room. Just enter the correct command sequence, and the sacred mechanism will do the rest. I guess that makes sense. So what have you decided, descendant of the von Valancius line? The woes of your house upset the balance of power in this part of the galaxy. I will help you, if not for the sake of profit, but for the good of the Imperium. Belek nods curtly. You should hurry then. We will stay here to hold the line and lick our wounds. Good luck, rogue trader, and may the Emperor's light be with you. And before I do anything, I am just remembering that I have this. Yes. Yes. And I want to equip that on her. So, I mean, it definitely looks like a demon weapon. But it also looks like this is the blade. Looks like maybe there's one or two more blade pieces, and then we have the whole sword. Well, let's get our formation set up. Yeah, that is not the formation we want. Little annoyed that it doesn't remember my placements, but oh well. I'll live with it. Let's go examine this.
Over.
The corpses were mauled by a force far beyond any mortal capacity. The faces are twisted in pain, and the hands are fused with improvised weapons, tools, scissors, and cutlery. Okay, so I can move across that. That's the elevator, I'm assuming. Ooh, an extra multi-key. Nice. Pretty good, pretty good. I'm assuming I can't turn this on because I don't have the cogitator. Yeah. So there is really only one path forward.
A void station is a sacred place. The Omnissiah, who shields the rulers of this fortress against death and darkness. Why then are the Vox channels dead? And why is the air not filled with the holy binaric rhythms?
The station's lack of response to our ship's hails was already suspicious. I am no less uneasy after the Magos' words. Hands at your weapons.
Hands at your weapons. Don't give me orders. Okay, so we have a servant here. Let's see if we can talk to him. Or if he's gonna go hostile. Mumbles incoherently. Is he banging his head? I don't know what he's doing. To go around. Now we can go past here. Medicaid examination.
Success is an irrefutable certainty.
Most of these unfortunate souls took their own lives by slicing their guts wide open. That is not a good way to commit suicide. Like, you can argue for or against the merits of suicide, but I don't care how in favor of suicide you might be. Self-disembowelment is not a good way to do it. Not unless, for some reason, you're trying to torture yourself. Icons. Plastic crystal cores. Not very valuable. There's a bunch of them. Catechism of St. Drusus. I feel like I've seen that before. Whoa, what's this? Mutated flesh sample. Wonder what good that'll do me. Mutant traitor. Any more mutant traitors? Lick it. That's what she said. Mutant commander, mutant traitor, mutant traitor. I feel like rather than being caught in the middle here on the low ground, I would rather go around and approach from up here. Lady Navigator statue looks pristine and new. There's another book. Oh, here's the combat. Ra, protect the child! I should have saved before this fight. Oh, they raised some of the corpses. Interesting. And now? Nothing's happening. There we go.
And bow before me.
Okay, let's get into positions. I actually like her position. Abelard here. Heinrich. Not sure I can get around that way. I'll put Heinrich here. Put you here. Put you up here. No, actually switch these two. Like so. Pascal is up first. Well, shame he doesn't have his, what am I saying? It's a shame he doesn't have the arc rifle equipped. However, if I move here... Let's move here. Let's do Machine Spirit Communion on everybody. And then we overcharge the plasma to do an AoE, like so. There we go. Good turn. Also, this costs nothing, so let's expose weakness on this mutant. Now, Heinrichs? Okay, I can go that way around. Heinrichs. The Emperor on everyone. Does that do again? Last one, resolve. And that's gonna stack. Okay. And I move here.
Everyone, step aside.
I pop
For the
Endure.
throne's glory.
And then I charge.
But of course, Lord Kevin.
Cut him down where he stands. And that gives me... I don't know why I got an extra movement point. I don't know where that came from. Unfortunately, there's no cover to be had up here, so I am just gonna wait here.
Weapon at the ready.
You're gonna come and take a swing at me. Haha! Parried!
Follow my lead.
Oh, that corpse stood up as well. Okay.
Emerald.
Now, Abelard. Does brace for impact. Grants brace. What does brace do again? +2 deflection. It's for 1 round. Calculate penetrate. You know what? Let's hold off on that. Let's not do that yet. Let's instead just
I've
move
seen
to
worse
here.
battles than this in my time.
Charge this guy. Oh, there are more! Endure. And then, can I... I can't really taunt any, I can't reach... I can taunt this guy, I'll taunt that guy. Gotta do something with my action points. Haha! Parried!
Pain and duty go hand in hand.
Weather the storm.
My ears are ringing.
Onward.
Oh, that claw looks nasty. Ooh, parry riposte. Alright, now Agenta. I think Agenta wants to get rid of the mutant commander, so I'm gonna have her move here. Furious Recital, of course.
Doubt is for the weak.
Then I think we're just gonna do a single shot like so. Killing him. I have a lot of spare action points. I think I'm gonna hold off on using them. Now Teophania. Hold on. Teophania's gonna move here. Abelard, serve me. Abelard, voice of command. Abelard, bring it down. Abelard is going to do a cleave and hit both of these guys.
I took care of this one.
Good job, Abelard. Maybe now brace for impact? Yeah, you know what? Brace for impact. And I have 1 action point left. Don't think get back in the fight is worth it. So I'm just gonna shoot this guy with my sniper rifle. Now Idira. Idira is going to put 4 warning on Abelard. And then... I mean, I can see that guy down there. There's no cover out here, though. Move to here.
What is this foreboding?
It's kind of risky, but I'm hoping these guys will take more aggro. Analyze enemies. Mutant traitor. Oh, we have ads! Shit! I forgot! So we're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna go use the bathroom, and I will be back in a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Alright, we're back. Just going to wait a minute for the ads to end. Internet just crashed, but then ads came. You missed nothing. Lucky timing. Man, it seems like your internet has been crashing a lot lately. I'm really sorry about that, Nittler. I hope you guys are able to get it sorted. It sounds frustrating as hell. Anyway, ads are just wrapping up now, so we can get back into the fray. So I used Analyze on this guy. Let me just check something. So you have exploits. Hits the target with an exploit stat, it deals extra damage. Hits. So I'm assuming this also counts as a hit. So let's see, I can do this for 7 to 16 damage. This does way less. I can do a burst, but I don't think that's very accurate. Or I can zap for 13 damage. And there's no one to arc to. Call your internet guys today. Said they'll make a guy call you in a couple of days. I hope that gets sorted soon. I think this only counts as a minor psychic power. Using the staff counts as a major. So I think we're going to psychic shriek this guy. This should really hurt. Oh, actually it was enough to kill. Nice. Watch the veil degradation? Don't worry, I am. That's kind of why I chose to do this rather than the staff, because that would give less veil degradation.
My faith strengthens me.
Moving out.
Stay vigilant.
Follow my lead.
Reduced to dust.
A skull. Abelard is a boss. He is a beast. I am so glad I gave him that shield, by the way. That seems to be working out so well for him. I'm gonna move over here and try and deal with this guy. No line of sight. Damn it. That looks like there should be a line of sight. Bullshit. Well, in that case, analyze, joint analysis, completely overkill. Went pretty badly wrong for you a few times when you forgot in highly warp-saturated battlefields. I could imagine. Because from what I understand, where the veil degradation starts depends on where you are. Because, like, it didn't start at 0 for this fight, which it normally would. And also, I believe, enemies using psychic powers also affects the veil degradation.
I'll put my psychic abilities to use.
Here. Word of the Emperor. And we're just gonna cleave, like so. Certain areas, yeah, exactly. And that is it for him. Abelard! go meet this guy. I'm gonna shotgun you in the face, but we don't care. You know what?
At your beck and call.
And, it's just at max range. What's my chance? 40% to hit? Or 30% to hit, but then I get 2 shots. Let's do 2 30s. No. Alright, fair enough. Since that's only 1, might as well reload. And switch to melee. Magenta. I think it's time for run and gun. I was hoping to get up here into cover, but can't have everything.
As the Emperor
And because it's run and gun, I get to do a second shot. God, Argenta's so good. And I leveled up off that. I think I took damage once. I think Idira... Someone got hit for 8 damage. But that's the only time I took damage the entire fight. That went so well. Idira always gets hurt. Yeah, kinda. And now the most important part of the fight. Psychic... Ooh, Psychic Body Glove. Oh, no, that's what she's already wearing. He only has a flak chestplate. Okay. A shotgun. I mean, I already have those. So... To the cargo hold with you! Bunch of knives, scrappy auto pistol, regular sword, some shotguns. Oh, that was the last pistol. To the cargo hold! The library is full of treatises by the most distinguished scholars of the Imperium, from Astra Militarum tacticians to Adeptus Mechanicus genitors. Intercepted conversation between security officers. Tremendous honor. Yes, but this promotion will transfer the entire squad to the child's personal guard. By the God, Emperor. Well, you are a strapping lad. You will probably make it for a cycle or 3. It has worn down better men than me. What even is the point if your brains turn into mush? I may rip out my eyes like Amos did. At best, I'll just go bonkers like that little shit stain that keeps stealing our low. Oh, what happened to that one? Threw himself out of a depressurized chamber because some voices told him to. Calm down. Keeper Felix said the squad will not have to serve the child for long. He even gave us a little leeway. Unlike that fishite. Be quiet! He might hear you. Well, you know what I mean. He almost busted our heads because someone forgot to check the catering unit. We haven't let in a single outsider in over 10 years, but Keeper Theobald keeps finding things to fret over. Imagine the shrieking if he finds out Keeper Felix didn't make us inspect the hangar after Lord Winterscale's most recent visit. Throne forbid. I try to steer clear of the squabbles among the highborn. Some of Keeper Felix's orders make little sense, like the last time he commanded that we cut off communications with Rykard Minoris for a while. Why would he do that? It looks like he grew tired of the Winterscale Scion's visits. Well, it's always a pleasure to aid Keeper Felix. That's right, if the highborn have grown tired of each other, let them deal with it. Interesting. I'll have that. Where is that? Oh, it's a book. Pontius Siphius Gelasius on the training of worthy servants at the court of the Navis nobility. A good major domo attempts to nurture only the finest of flowers in the garden that is their master's life. Therefore, new seeds for the garden must be weeded out with the utmost care, so that the garden's trees may yield the sweetest fruit. The lessons below will help you separate the precious seeds from the vile thorns to cultivate the perfect garden for any lady navigator. Lesson 1. A faithful servant always makes sure their mistress's rooms and garments are clean. Lesson 2. A faithful servant will never offer their mistress the same dress presented earlier in the cycle. Lesson 3. A faithful servant offers their mistress a glass of fresh water upon waking. Okay. Lesson 4. A faithful servant tastes each dish and every drink before serving it to their mistress. Lesson 5. A faithful servant will have mastered the art of styling their mistress's hair. The total time that 5 servants can spend on arranging their mistress's coiffure should not exceed 3 revolutions of the chronometer. Lesson 6. A faithful servant lives for their mistress and gladly gives their life for her as well. Lesson 7. A faithful servant... ... Take that. Doubt it's going to do much.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
I rise to the occasion.
Statue by the famous Calixian sculptor and chronicler Zacharias Vernon the Magnificent, the 23rd year of this millennium. Original. It's fairly new then. Data crypt. H40KO. No idea what to do with that. Maybe Pascal will appreciate it. Okay, so I can go here, or I can go up here. I think I'm gonna go up here first. But before I do so...
I can barely understand cops when they talk, but it seems I'm going to have plenty of opportunities to bone up on my translation skills.
True believers will find common ground, if not in words, then in a shared desire to cleanse this world of corruption.
We have here a navigator flesh sample. Interesting. Glow sticks, some icons, engraved flasks, vat meal cakes. That sounds unpleasant. Alright, before I go any further, we are going to take a break. Not with me stepping away from the computer, but we're going to take a break to level everybody up.
We must act.
So what do we get? We get a talent and a characteristic. So for talent... Ooh. A lot of Martyrs seems good. Commanding voice. Focus! Oh, focus seems good. I already have Inspire Courage. Personal Oversight seems good as well. Steel Resolve seems good as well. Whenever an ally is affected, grants temporary wounds. That seems alright. Vigilant, decisive response. Oh, that seems good as well. Decisive response. What's heroism? Ooh, that also seems good. Stand witness. Oh, interesting. +5 fellowship whenever I make an attack. Nice. Reactions to the options seem very positive. I mean, there's a lot of really good shit here. No respite. Oh, that seems good too. Seize the initiative. Don't like that one. Because it's only against enemies that have not yet acted this combat, so that's very corner case. You know what? I think we're gonna go for focus. Yeah, we're gonna go for focus. Then a characteristics bump. Can't pick fellowship because I already did. Might actually go for ballistic skill. Get some more use out of my sniper rifle. Alright. Abelard Wassarian. Common talent and ability. I already have Endure. We can get Reckless Strike. Oh, that's interesting. So I hit much harder, but in return, I give out a return attack. Sworn enemy. Breakthrough. Is this like a once per combat? No. Breakthrough. Forceful strike.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Hello, Jägernaut. Welcome. Greetings, merchant. I think I'm going to go for Sworn Enemy. I really like that one. Common talent. One enemy's multi-use. Yeah, it seems like it. It seems like I can just use it whenever. But it seems like it lasts the rest of the combat. I didn't see any duration on it. I'm thinking evasive maneuvers. Although Stentorian voice might be pretty good too. It's defensive maneuver. Nah. Dueling Master. Ooh. Dueling Master. Lasts until the target dies or until you... Oh, that makes sense. Okay. What does heavy weapon? Reduces the required strength value. Got it. Instant retribution. Whenever the wielder successfully blocks an attack, they immediately use shield bash against the attacker if possible. That seems amazing. Power weapon expert. Power armor proficiency. Shield mastery. Oh, that would be amazing. Then I could switch him back to his shotgun. Oh. Swift movements. Is there like a chain weapon expert that I overlooked? Chain weapon expert. Shield bash counter attack one seems amazing. I want that. I also want chain weapon expert. And I also want just shielded mastery. This is hard. I think we're gonna go for shield mastery. And then before we move on, I'm gonna take this stub revolver. Someone else can get that. And we are going to give him... Why can he use an arc rifle? Why is he proficient to use an arc rifle? How? Honestly, might... I mean, the shotgun is fun. The shot... Didn't know he was... No, neither did I, but he can equip it. I think it's glitched. I think it's glitched because everyone can equip the arc rifle even though it's an exotic weapon. I think it's a glitch. Also, Jaegernaut, 7 stream streak. Thank you for being here so much. Ooh, I have a sturdy shotgun, which is not as good as a regular shotgun. Okay, so a shotgun is 10 to 15. This is 6 to 8. And shoot 4 shots with burst fire. I'm liking the shotgun. We're gonna keep him on the shotgun. But no, that doesn't make sense because if he's up close, he probably wants to sword things. So I think something with more range. Yeah, I think something with more range probably makes better sense for him. And I could just give him a sniper rifle. It's a glitch, it might resolve itself, so you would not spec after it. Agreed, agreed. Now I think we're giving him a last gun. Also, I mean, he's a former guardsman. It makes sense for him to have a last gun. Now, I really like the stub revolver.
This is my boomstick!
So I might give that to someone like Idira. No, I think I'm going to give it to Heinrichs. Sorry, it's not Heinrichs. I cannot get out of my mind to read that as Heinrichs, but it's Heinrichs. I just keep reading that wrong. All right, let's get back to leveling up. Idira. She gets a talent and a skill. Okay. Does inflict despair do? Okay. The operative's allies gain 1% hit chance and critical hit chance while attacking targets affected by exploits. That's not a lot. Ooh, that's good. Ooh, this is just constantly distributing. Oh, that's only if they're up close. Reactive study. If an enemy within 5 cells attacks the operative or their ally, that enemy gains an additional exploit. Let's go with that. I like that. As you return to Castle Wolfenstein, final boss was Heinrich. Yeah, it's actually not. Maybe they pronounced it like that in the game, but that's wrong. It's not Heinrich, it's Heinrich. There's a little bit of at the end. It's Heinrich. Heinrich ist wie du sprichst das Name in Deutsch. Und in der Return to Castle Wolfenstein sind die Namen Deutsche, weil Heinrich eine deutsche Charakter ist. He said in broken, very poor German, if I'm being honest. Alright, Idira. Already maxed out on the 2 main skills I use you for. Argenta has an impressive minus 170 to Law Warp and Law Xenos because of a talent I took for her. Honestly, not loving any of these. I guess I'll do Medicae, which will allow her to carry a medkit. So that in and of itself has some value. Only know a few German words, nothing of their sentence structure or conjugations. It's, grammatically, it's somewhat similar to the Latin languages. Like, Spanish, French, Italian. The name of your Inquisitor friend as Henry, but in French, Henri? It is Prince Consort Henri. No, it's Heinrichs, which is just the weirdest way of pronouncing that. Alright, what do you get? Get an ability and a skill. So ability. We already have dash. We liked dash. We were happy to grab dash. What else do we have? Controlled shot. A soldier and their allies will automatically dodge the soldier's next attack. Oh, that could be really good. Concentrated fire. Next area attack. It doesn't really make area attacks. Entrench. Immediately spends all their action points and movement points and gains extra cover. And then the next time they use run and gun, they gain back all those action points and movement points plus 1 additional action point. Also resets the cooldown of all other abilities.
Emotional, damn it!
Hey, Unicorn, welcome! Boo! You scared me. How you doing? Rapid fire. Nah, you know what? I think I want rapid fire if I get another ability. But for this one, I'm gonna take controlled shot, because I can really see that coming in handy. Doing fine, you? I'm doing okay. I'm actually not feeling great today. I have been kind of lethargic and slow to start up all day. Just kind of sluggish all day. So nothing serious, just you know, trying to get over myself. I think demolition. Can't find that arc rifles are supposed to have proficiency. Seems to be working as intended. That's weird. That is weird. Because it says exotic weapon. And from a setting lore perspective, nobody but an admech should be inherently proficient with arc rifles. They are very uncommon weapons. They should be similar to like a plasma or a melta. Might be because of the amount of talents they added to arc rifle. It might be. It might be just from a game balance perspective. But yeah, just lore-wise, it should be like a melta or a plasma, where you have to spend a talent to be able to use it. Maybe they just decided that arc rifles baseline aren't so great that they're worth a talent to unlocking. I don't know. Or maybe their logic is that arc rifles are just kind of fire and forget, don't require a huge amount of training. Looked up, they're also classified as basic weapons, since they're a rifle. Yes. But a basic weapon can still be an exotic weapon. A basic weapon in 40k nomenclature is something rifle-sized and shaped. Like a plasma gun is also a basic weapon because of that's how it's shaped. At least as I'm familiar with the term in 40k. But other things can be rifles. Yeah, exactly. So we get a talent and we get a skill. No. Ooh, Tide of Excellence might be really good. That's great for a sniper. No. Start of the operative's turn, the enemy with the largest number of exploits receives an additional exploit stack. Okay. Inflict despair. Are there any fun admech stuff? Burning effect and flame weapons. Ooh, Pinnacle of Weaponry seems really good. Because it's with Plasma, Melta, or Power Weapon. Even if I go away from a Plasma shooter, a Plasma pistol, his Omniscient Power Axe is still a power weapon. So he will always have something to trigger that. So I might go for Pinnacle of Weaponry. Ooh, Steels of the Forge seems good as well. While wearing heavy armor. I think he is wearing heavy armor. Because chainmail. No, that's only medium. Never mind. Never you mind. Pascal gains plus 10 ballistic skill and plus 15 to dodge reduction. Oh, that seems amazing. Close-up scanning. This also seems good. Also seem. Oh man, he has some good ones. Ooh. Oh, he has some really good ones. Does plasma... push. Two action points to push all enemies up to 2 cells away. Weapon skill bonus plus intelligence bonus damage. Give him a scanner mechadendrite. Increases his perception by plus 10. You know what? I'm gonna commit. I'm gonna say that Pascal is gonna use plasma weapons from now on. And I'm going to give him Pinnacle of Weaponry. How good is his awareness? How good is his logic? I think it's gonna be logic. He's like my logic guy. Now Heinrichs gets an ability and a common talent. Enfeeble. Until end of combat, all targets within the area suffer. That is a psychic power, I assume. Telepathy. Oh, these are just disciplines. We don't want disciplines. Okay. Could go Shield of the Emperor. That actually seems good. Sworn Enemy is so good too, though. Yeah, I'm not loving Enfeeble. I think we're gonna go Shield of the Emperor. And then common talent. I really like that one. Hymns of Hatred. Is there one that just gives me +1 psycho rating? I think that increased, yeah, that increased his psi rating by 1. There we go. He has now gotten better at psychic stuff. Yay! Okay. That was some time. Save, so we don't have to do that again. let's... I think this is like a side thing. Oh, we'll just get everybody selected.
Experience. Nothing matters more.
Oh, that's what happened. Noble silk gloves. Ooh. Mars pattern sword. Give me those. Alright, so... the Mars pattern sword, I think Idira will get that. It is just very slightly better than a regular sword, than a Mazoa pattern. She will get that. The Noble's gloves, of course. There we go. So who do we want to give plus 5% damage and plus 5% critical chance to single shots and deadeye shots? See, who's going to be doing a lot of single shots? I think we give that to Pascal for now. Oh wait, Pascal already had operator's gloves. And we give it to her. She doesn't always do bursts, so it works. It makes sense. Okay. Door open.
Follow my lead.
Okay, if combat is about to commence. Or, you know, I just gun him down. I was really expecting there to be goods there, but I guess not.
Operation successful.
A deep cut extends across the mutant's throat, and a holy Aquila has been carved into their forehead. Traitors are often executed in this way. Another data crypt, this time 41. Actually, can I read these data crypts or something? Hold on. Info. No. Maybe I need them to access some kind of machinery. Research notes. Research notes of Navis Laboratorium, Custodian Fortunata Orselio. I think Orselio was the Navigator family, so this is someone fancy. Keeper Theobald graciously agreed to provide samples of his skin growths so we could study the influence of the rebellious immaterium on the flesh of the Navis nobility. Just as we thought, navigators are positively resistant to the restless currents of the warp. The God Emperor truly does shield some people against corruption and misery. But let us get back to the study of mortal flesh. Another servant will be carried in shortly. We must ready the organ extraction equipment. Adamantine dust and black water. This was the worst idea that could have entered my mind. God Emperor be praised, I am lucky to still have my head on my shoulders after this reckless experiment. Nevertheless, we did make an important discovery. The adamantine seems to protect the frail flesh of the lowborn to a degree. Having said that, not even the macerator can handle its temper, so we should probably introduce a more complex compound into the formula. All of the data related to the experiment were recorded to data crypt K04OH. I don't have that one. I have 40... Wait, is it 04? I will get back to them later once I am done with experiment H41OK. Have I mentioned that the chunk of meteorite found by Keeper Phallic subjects is completely useless? Although its shining granules could be used to make new paints for the child. Yes, I think I'm going to do exactly that. That sounds like a bad idea. So K04OH. H41OK. Regular tech use.
It's about time.
Plasma shock generators, filtration plugs. Oh, this is good find. Couple of fire grenades, a long lass. Long lass. Do I want that instead of my sniper rifle? So it loses 5% additional hit chance, but in return carries more ammo and has what about the range? And has better range and has more damage. Yeah. Some flugs, maglock scabbards, vat meal cakes. Pascal, tech use this cupboard. Oh, I'm rich.
Victory awaits.
Rough, bloody sketch. A crumpled sheet of paper with a drawing of a tall woman and a dark-eyed monster, painted with fresh blood. Well, that's not sinister at all. Let's see if there's anything in here. No.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
Because sometimes the things don't show up until you're sufficiently close. Oh, is this the cogitator I was sent? Yeah, awaken the cogitator spirit. So this is to turn the elevator back on. The cogitator's vid screen is covered in cracks and stained with dried blood. The buttons, switches, and levers were ripped out of the control panel with exceptional cruelty and scattered around the sacred mechanism that now sparks and hisses in agony, still refusing to perish. The tech priest's vox system emits a binary trill, and his mechadendrites start furiously lashing at the air. I am recording blasphemy! The person found guilty of such cruelty to a noble mechanism must be sentenced to immediate destruction. Let's see if we can awaken it. You turn a few of the remaining dials and pull the activation lever. The cracked vid screen of the sacred engine flickers. The cogitator's insides emit creaks and groans, and the lumens oscillate at random. It takes a while, but eventually the machine spirits do grant you access to the cogitator's systems. Request data on the station's navigators. After a brief pause, the data appears on the vid screen. Felix Orselio, location main hall, status alive. Theobald Orselio, location upper chambers, status alive. Calomira Orselio, location upper chambers, status deceased. Alexius Orselio, location lower levels, status deceased. Rasmus Estevan Orselio. Location unknown. Status deceased. If you don't know where he is, then how do you know he's dead? Alright, so from this, it seems like Felix and Theobald are the only ones still alive. The Child. Location, upper chambers. Biometric parameters. Rapid heartbeat. Elevated body temperature. Stress level exceeds the permissible limit. Status, unknown error. Attention, calming procedures advised. Attention, upper chambers inaccessible. Error, the control rod is not present. If the rod has been misplaced, immediately contact a station keeper or the Navis Laboratorum custodian. Summon the log. The archive data stored on the Cogitator's local data crypt is partially corrupted, but you still manage to access the residual logs for examination. Vox Report 12AH890. The Vox recording hisses for some time before you hear a voice. This is Officer A282. Do you copy? Several generators overheated on the lower levels. Chambers A through D are unpowered. The Tech Priest's crew sent to investigate the problem is not responding. Requesting back. The officer's speech is interrupted by shouting, and the recording abruptly ends. Officer H123 speaking. 200 servants have perished due to explosive decompression of the living quarters. We've located traces of mechanical interference. The preliminary cause is officer sabotage. Crews 5, 6, and 9 are cut off from the main compartment. We have enough oxygen for 20 minutes. May the Emperor save our souls. Senior station officers, this is the captain speaking. We attempted to contact the Winterscale Scion for help, but something is jamming the signal. We never received a reply and cannot be sure it was even sent in the first place. A rescue team is not coming. We are on our own, so remain vigilant. Anyone could be a traitor, you hear me? Anyone. If you are in doubt, shoot to kill. The following Vox recordings are too badly distorted to make out even a single word. Alright, let's have a look at the incident log. Report X880, originator classified, date classified. The servants close to the child have started butchering one another again. An order came from above to have their remains reprocessed. What the fuck is that child? Is it just like, it's probably just literally a navigator child that doesn't have control over its powers yet because it's not mature. I wonder why they call it the child instead of a name. Maybe navigators don't get a name until they come of age or something? I don't know. Interesting. Report X886, originator classified, date classified. The negotiations with the Winterscales were a success. A new batch of servants will arrive in 10 moons. Escort them to the laboratory at once. It is imperative that we increase the new retainer's resistance to the child's powers. Report X891, originator classified, date classified, data expunged. Looking forward to finding out the story here. Me too. Gaming, I wasn't asking. I was just musing out loud. Please don't tell me anything. No spoilers, please. Examine the docking log. Welcome back, Salaminator. The log is almost completely corrupted, but you managed to recover the latest entry. Identity confirmed. Regent Aronto Orselio. Date of visit, classified. Reason for visit, classified. Date of departure, classified. Examine the security and life support logs. The yellow lights above the control panel flicker to life, and a singular repeating message streams down the vid screen. Warning! Damage in technical compartments A12, B3, D8, and H24 detected. Warning! Living quarters L10, L16, L28 depressurized. Warning! Unable to access the station's docking system. Warning! Energy regulation system unknown error. The station will transfer over to emergency power. Immediate evacuation of the facility is advised. Warning! Pascal casts a brief glance at the vet screen and speaks dryly. The imminent demise of this voice station is affirmed. The damage to its core infrastructure has reached critical mass, at which point further degradation has commenced in a cascading configuration. Warning, shit's fucked. Seems like it. Encrypted data. Something buzzes in the cogitator's metallic gut. Several red lumens light up above the vid screen. Required access level, security captain or above. Current access level, senior security officer. Right, let's break through its defenses. Using tech use, you easily bypass the restrictions imposed on the sacred machine. The cogitator's overloaded processors whir unhappily. Most of the encrypted data has been wiped. You find traces of the purge protocol. Recovery is impossible, but a list of the most recent commands have been embedded in the machine spirit's consciousness. Now it flits across the screen in a single creeping line. Child, delete, picked, flow, disable, access, code, annul, station controls, delete, activate, shuttle, self-destruct, purge, command log. Exploring the archives for a while longer yields a surviving excerpt from the guard captain's report mentioning that the security system had recently been reconfigured without his knowledge. Only the keepers of the station have access to the life support systems, but Keeper Theobald had not left the child's side, and neither had I. Could it be that? Ooh, intrigue. I wonder if, what's his name? Feckle? I wonder if he's actually the bad guy here, if I'm being played. I suspect it might. Anyway, we have ads about to start, so as usual, I will take a break, get away from the screen, go pee. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Alright, I am back. Just having a licorice pastel. The game suddenly began to count turns or time spent. Googled it and it seemed to be a leftover coding that had no gameplay effect. Okay, thank you for the heads up, Salaminator. That's good to know. Anyway, we've got about a minute and a half until ads end, but I think we can just continue talking to this computer. I'm not going to call for help. I got this under control. Switch to the main chamber controls. The cogs within the sacred mechanism slowly start turning with heavy grinding and clacking. The tired machine spirits grant you access to the station control, or at least its parts that still obey the cogitator. Open all doors on the level. The cogitator's vid screen goes dark as if the machine spirits had fled their mechanical casket, but your assumption is incorrect as it fills with static just a few moments later. You can barely make out an inscription amidst the flow of rapidly changing symbols. Warning, data corrupted, processing, error. Binary is required. Pascal's Vox systems emit a binary trill. The spirits of this sacred machine require special purification rituals in order to restore utilization of the lingua more familiar to the citizens of the Imperium. Requesting access to the device. Go ahead. Pastor's fingers drum out a resonant crescendo on the control panel as his mechadendrites remove the metal cover and the data cord slides into the machine's innards. The cogitator's body starts crackling with electrical impulses, and the tech priest nods with satisfaction. A few minutes later, Pascal raises his hands above the machine, chants a brief litany only he can understand, and pushes the surviving stump of one of the levers. My humble prayers have satisfied this machine's requirement. Main hall. Door is already opened. Library. Adjacent compartment. Compartment you're trying to open is depressurized. Okay. Technical areas. Protocol has been executed. Passage has been opened. Guard room. Laboratory. Does that open? Oh, that opens this. Great! Sweet! Wasn't much of a cutscene, but a little bit. Let's activate the elevator. And I think we are done. Now we just need to get to the laboratory to get the other half of the control rod. Let's save.
I won't tolerate weakness.
I won't tolerate weakness. Just having a quick look-see. I mean...
Oh my.
Oh, what is happening here? That is a very, very tech priest thing to do, though. Having a data probe on a mechadendrite to insert into things.
None shall stand in my way.
Caustic stench of reagents sears your nostrils and broken glass crunches underfoot. Somebody wanted to destroy the laboratory, or find something. Synthetic amniotic fluids pool across the floor, barely discernible traces stretch to the side opposite the entrance. Interesting. What do we have here? Another data crypt. Have that. Biogel, black water, and unidentified acid. A psi crystal. I wonder what I'm going to be doing with all these things. How do I get down there? I don't know. Maybe through this way?
Follow my lead.
Okay. Transducer. Yeah, let's not just start putting random things together. Oh, here we go. Time passed. 10 minutes. Laboratory journal. Experimental section. The child's influence on the psycho-emotional state of various representatives of the Imperium. Access level Orcelio T prime. Experiment H4545-1. Subgroup Lowborn, male. Test subjects exhibit signs of acute stress. The majority perished of blood loss within a day of being placed in the laboratory chamber due to the inability to halt the discharge of ocular secretions, tears, and the body's subsequent replacement of these secretions with the connective tissue of its internal environment. The individuals with the greatest resistance to the sacred child's resonance died several chronoturns later, extensive wounds in the abdomen, presumably inflicted by a jagged piece of metal. Death was caused by strangulation with the subject's own intestines. The subject's final shouts exhibited concerns over abominable tentacles and void worms, hallucinations prescribed to their own internal organs. H45452, lowborn female. The test subjects died within an hour of entering the laboratory adjacent to the child's chambers. Most had their tongues bitten off by their jaws badly dislocated. Some test subjects lacked the physical strength to separate it from the rest of the skull. Cause of death, severe head injuries caused by impacting the walls or the floor. H45453. A paralyzed patient who lost the ability to speak due to the shock caused by a manufactorum accident, male. The test subject noted a tingling sensation in the deteriorated tissue. During Regent Aranto Orcelio's visit to the child, the test subject smiled and started humming, most likely trying to carry some plebeian tune, and then attempted to address the servant who brought him food. A lengthy conversation was prohibitive due to the servant's lack of a tongue. 45454. A defective offspring of Lord P. Orcelio, pronounced unfit for studying the high art of navigation owing to the mutation of tissues required for installation of the obligatory augmentations that merge one's consciousness with a vessel. Additionally, they display an overall feebleness of mind, female. The test subjects mirrored the child's actions for 3 days. On the 4th day, the child became upset after hearing the news about the untimely demise of Amos Cantarelli, an officer of her personal guard. As a result, one of the test subjects peeled away several layers of tissue from her face and died from the resulting massive heart attack. The last surviving test subject was executed for attempting to contact the child. Man, there is something really fucked up going on with that so-called sacred child. Ooh, some adamantine. Take that. Data crypt connector, tissue flask, so I can add some tissue. Catalyst. Reagent. I don't have any reagents. Maybe this is where the reagent flask is. Research notes. Research notes of Navis Laboratorum Custodian Fortunata Orcelio, Part 12. More and more servants are being influenced by the Immaterium, and it has nothing to do with the child's more frequent tantrums. We've discovered that the corrupted flesh of the mutated reacts most unusually to the crystals we purchased from the Winterscale dynasty. I strongly recommend finely grinding the reagents to catalyze the reaction. Do not use acid under any circumstances. Trust me, you will not like having to tend to the burns for the next dozen turns in a row. This calls for something more basic. Oh, and one more thing. The tech priests blessed the data crypt 41OK for the calculated number of chronoturns, which means it is no longer necessary to remain near the device while waiting for the reaction to start. The data crypt H40KO malfunctioned over the course of our research. I should remind the technomats to deliver this sacred mechanism into Magus Dioctus' capable hands. Okay, so Psi Crystal. biogel and I think mutated flesh. Let's try. That was the 41k. Psi crystal.
We need to investigate.
Then what do we get? Crystal dust. Oh, is that what we put? Yeah, there we go.
What is that?
Let's see what we get. Shimmering emulsion. The user permanently gains +1 psi rating and 30% more chance to trigger perils of the warp. That is tempting. Perils of the warp is terrifying, but a point of psi rating is a lot.
Victory awaits.
Can you do it on enemies? Maybe. I'd probably not. Give it to the Inquisitor. I am honestly considering doing so. And the main reason I am considering doing so is because of his Force Sword. It's because of Psychic Force, where I do damage based on my psi rating and willpower bonus. Can he actually take it? That is a good question. Where is it? Shimmering emotion. Okay, let's do it.
What is it, rogue trader?
He now has a psi rating of 2. Haha! He also has 30% more chance to trigger perils of the warp. Worth? I think that was worth it. I think that was probably worth it.
New challenge for me.
Oh, I missed this. Oh, we had some unmutated flesh we could have used. Over there.
Nothing's impossible for this old officer.
I won't tolerate weakness.
Now, does Felic have anything new to say? Felic Orselio looks a little better. His tangled hair is now neatly braided, his wounds are tightly bandaged, and there is some healthy color under the scales on his cheeks. You dealt with the threat and powered the elevator. Well done. I trust you brought the activation rod as well? Remember, every second of hesitation may cost my mistress her life. Idira suddenly cocks her head and drives her nails deep into her shoulder. Then she starts mumbling. The crossroads! There are two paths, both stained with blood, both leading to the accursed eye. They all wear masks, so poor and flimsy they fall at the slightest touch. One hiding a blind man, another a traitor. What paths? I cannot say. One is paved with blind faith, the other with hatred and treachery. Both lead to tragedy. You simply have to decide what kind of tragedy you like the most. Who do you see behind the masks? My whispers are giggling nastily. They will not speak, the naughty little things. They say that tearing off the masks is your concern. Thank you. Everything is clear now. This station has enough problems without your sorcery, Psyker. Bellic waves Adira off and looks at you expectantly. I have questions. Think they're worth the life of my mistress? Who is the child mentioned in the documents and reports? You meddled with something that should have been left alone. The keeper folds his arms and shakes his head disapprovingly. The child is what the station servants call Lady Cassia, for the commoners' dirty mouths must not sully her name by uttering it. You see, it is not beneficial for all servants to have their vocal organs altered. Some prove to be more useful when they are still able to speak. The madmen I fought were convinced that we were the traitors. That's why they're insane. Will you really heed the ramblings of retainers who dared raise their hands against the scions of a noble bloodline? The servants alone cannot be blamed for what happened on the station. Most corpses I discovered were either unarmed or feeble. The warp corrupts not only the soul, but just as much the body and the mind. Mad and furious, a single servant wielded more strength than an entire squad of the mistress's personal guards. The bodyguards had their minds fogged as well, but their honed will let them hold out just long enough to destroy those who rushed in to assault them with their bare hands. Destroying the shuttles, shutting off the power, disabling the security systems. Too many things required special access available only to the keeper of the station. As I am sure you are aware, there were two keepers of the station. Your guess is absolutely correct. Theobald Orselio, the demented old man obsessed with Lady Cassia and her power, and also the one to blame for the woes that have befallen Urek V and our noble line. I saw the security captain's report. Only the keepers have access to the station's security systems. But Theobald stayed at his side the entire time and could not have initiated the self-destruct protocol. Which means he did it before the report was filed, or maybe after, or... Felix's stern face twists in disgust. You dare suspect me of what happened? The one who is going out of his way to preserve what little there is still left. By the God, Emperor, you will keep these slanderous accusations to yourself. Enough. I would not trust you as far as I could throw you, Felix Orselio. It really is time to end this. Felix squares his shoulders and gestures to his guards. I was hoping to find an ally in you, but now you are merely delaying the sorrowful end of your story. Prepare to die.
I won't heed your cries of mercy.
Alright, let's get into position. There's only a couple of enemies on this side. And there's more over there, yeah. So we are definitely backing off here. Can I just start here? Path is blocked, okay. So, Adira, put you here. Magenta here. Pascal here. Heinrichs here. And Abelard. Honestly, here, I think Abelard's just gonna charge into these guys. Yeah, let's try that. He gets to move first. Okay, what's he got up his pocket?
I must not falter. Weather the storm.
Okay, Argenta. Curious Recital, of course. Move to here.
Emperor will be undone.
And Burst Fire here.
My Emperor.
And then
I'll do
Running
it.
Gun. Just to be able to do a second Burst Fire. Oh, I didn't hit him with any of them.
Just a minor setback.
Okay, Heinrichs is gonna help bring down Felic, I think. So, Word of the Emperor. That should hit everyone. Well, that gives extra resolve. There's almost no veil degradation, so let's do Shield of the Emperor. Walk to here.
Is on our side.
Endure. Then hit him.
For the throne's glory.
Weapon at the ready.
Suffering is part of the trial.
Onward.
Follow my lead.
Ouch! Why did you dodge out of cover, you fool?
At your beck and an exemplary strike. One fewer target.
Ooh, the shield bash follow-up. Get him in.
Victory is imminent. I took care of this one.
There we
It
go.
will be done.
And that is why I put Abelard out front on his own, because I was hoping he could do something like that on his turn. Idira, again, always Idira, always getting it taken out on Idira. I am going to put Forewarning on Heinrichs. I am going to move back into cover.
In the Empyrean.
And I'm going to hopefully deal with this guy. That is 2 action points, which means I am going to analyze him. Then I'm going to Psychic Shriek him. And then hopefully Pascal will be able to finish him off. Pascal... See, so it's 1 to shoot. Should I overcharge? He has 9 hit points left. That shouldn't be necessary at all. 16% chance to hit, though. I don't like that. Does this help at all? Oh. No, I don't have line of fire. I guess we're shooting this guy then. Do that to buff all of their weapons. Then do an extra strength. Oh, not the area one. The extra strength one on this guy. Killing him. Now Teophania. Needs to move here. Heinrichs,
Fits my purposes.
serve me. Heinrichs, voice of command. Heinrichs, bring it down. And then Heinrichs will use that bring it down to do a psychic force attack on Felgos. Teophania. I don't quite understand why she has movement points now. Could take him. It's the same chances. I'm gonna shoot at this guy. Did I hit him? Did. I could finest hour. I mean, I might as well.
I am fear incarnate.
Strike is a prayer. As the Emperor commands, I act. Eradicated.
There we go. Still one guy hiding there, one guy hiding back here.
Follow my lead.
Now it's her turn. Run and gun is still on cooldown, unfortunately.
I will bathe this battlefield in righteous fury.
Might as well represent slaughter. I don't think I'm gonna get much use out of it, but might as well. Heinrichs.
Get me a
down
target.
here. And is going to stub revolver this guy? He's 7'11", he has 9.
Naturally.
No. Poor shooting. Alright.
Let's
Endure.
see to it.
Don't shoot my tech priest. Oh man, I have heroic act on deck again. I'm gonna save it for someone else though. Yeah, dismantling attack, it's not that it's terrible, but I like basically every other heroic act more. Psychic Scream, that'll be him dead. Scowl. Yeah, it's not going to be able to do anything. I, however, able to walk up here. Voice of command on Abelard. No, he's out of reach, which means he's also out of reach for this.
I don't have time for this.
What a shame.
Moving out.
One fewer target.
The base operative heroic act is kind of crap in comparison. What do you mean? Isn't that the one I'm talking about? The dismantling attack? I think Adira is an operative, right? Yeah. Yeah, that is the one I was talking about. Dismantling attack. It's not great. I like every other class's heroic act better so far. Well, this turned messy. You got anything good on you? A Deadshot stub revolver. The Staff of House Orselio. Tactical goggles. And a Keeper's control rod. Wait, he already had a control rod? Oh, right, he had the other part. Right. Oh, I just misunderstood you. So that's on me. Sorry. Can't be equipped by this character. Why not? Oh, because it requires 35 strength. All right. Well, there is nobody. Actually, I would probably want to equip it on Heinrichs then. Okay, so it looks like it can't do burst fire. It has a rate of fire of 1, but it does really good damage. And the regular stub revolver can, I guess, then go to Idira. I like stub revolvers better than auto pistols. What does this require? That requires that you are a navigator. So this is telling me that there is a navigator companion you can get, unless the guy I just killed was that navigator companion. In which case, shit happens. Oh, that's return to void ship. Yeah, that's the wrong way. I know, but I was not necessarily assuming that the navigator I could get for the ship was also available as a companion to take on adventure. But since there is an actual navigator-only weapon, that then tells me that you can get a navigator as a companion. The pale figure, with unnaturally long limbs, covers her face with her hands, which are deformed with talon-like nails. Her deathly pale face is coated with blood that continually streams from her scarlet-misted eyes. Her spiny gills, slightly hidden under her disheveled hair, twitch nervously as you approach. Only now do you notice the third eye on the young woman's forehead, hidden by a bejeweled ornament. And when your eyes meet, you sense overwhelming, soul-smothering power. As the otherworldly creature's gaze slides over you, your entire core shudders in terror. Flashes of past warp nightmares re-emerge from the shadows of your memory and paralyze your will. You gasp for air in terror, drowning under a crashing wave of pain. You cannot catch your breath. Hot tears burn on your cheeks. Why is this happening? Why is it happening to you? Why do you feel so lonely and in so much pain? Do these feelings even belong to you? Idira emits something between a moan and a drawn-out whimper. Ow, ow, ow! As if my own little pals weren't bad enough, now this one's budging into my head. Somebody stop her! I am registering abnormal activity in my tear ducts. The salt being produced by my body may negatively affect the performance of my respiratory apparatus. The vulnerability must be rectified. It has been logged. Heresy! Argenta looks at the tall figure with a strange mixture of anger and sadness. Then she lowers her head and her white hair veils her face. Oh, I get a special option because I'm iconoclast! Yay! I am definitely going to pick that. Because that allows me to overcome the crushing despair. I know why I am here, and I will stand strong against any illusion. You direct all your attention inward, to your heart, currently shackled by another's suffering. Under the gaze of your burning inner eye, the despair and pain begins to dwindle. The darkness in your soul dissipates, the lump in your throat shrinks, and you discover that you are standing in front of a bizarre creature, a young woman whose tears you seem to have dried along with your own. She wearily shakes her head and lets out a drawn-out sound similar to both a sob and the howl of a small wounded animal. What is happening? Was someone calling my name? Are the betrayers dead already? And you? Who are you? Theophania von Valancius. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Unease settles over her features, and she nods cautiously. Pardon my manners, Theophania. I did not expect to make such gracious acquaintance in such a time of great sorrow for our house. What is this? I feel faint. Hinrichs jerks abruptly as if he intends to dash forward, but someone else is quicker. Ooh. Oh, Theobald! The heavy-set old man who has been kneeling nearby erupts into low sobs. His eyes, swollen from crying, dart desperately around the room as though the veil of ignorance has just been ripped away from them. The child! Lady Cassia, where are you? Sacred child! Throne preserve! Despite his venerable age, the navigator leaps up and rushes to the young woman's side. You! The old man shifts, revealing his face to you. It is threaded with jet-black veins, and his bulging milky eyes bear a striking resemblance to those of a dead fish. A sickly sweet scent assaults your nostrils, as if the old man's flesh is rotting inside his decaying husk. My eyes fail me, for they are unable to make you out as either enemy or ally. I'm warning you, one wrong move will bring the wrath of House Arcelio down upon your head. Watch out, Lord Captain. This one's so deranged it's making the whispers shriek like crazy. He might just open that eye of his. Threatening the head of the dynasty is a grave offense, esteemed whoever you are. Oh, Felic. Why can I not remember the name Felic? I mean you no harm. I came to seek the navigator's aid. I'll grant that you do not look like pirates who've come coveting the riches of a wrecked station, or like scoundrels in Felic's service. So who are you? Abelard, introduce us. Her ladyship, rogue trader Theophania von Valancius, heir to the greatest protectorate in the Corona's expanse, and bearer of the sacred warrant of trade, extends her greeting. Another rogue trader in our corner of the galaxy? How interesting. Your kind always make an appearance in desperate times, ready to cut a deal that benefits one side alone. No one can remember Felic's name because he fell like a bitch. Ooh, good one. Given that you have not so far drawn your weapons, your intentions are probably peaceful, and so House Arcelio now asks a service of you. Save the life of the child in exchange for future cooperation. Do not hurry to answer. Think on it. You can make yourself an ally or an enemy of our house today. You decide. I want to know what happened between you and Felik. Felik is my wayward student. He came to Urak 5 as a callow youth. I personally mentored him and entrusted him with the care of the child. He was like a son to me, but he proved to be just another traitor. He sought to steal our most precious treasure, the heir of our house, our sacred child. To revel in power with others like him, casting our house into the abyss. To pervert the centuries-long traditions of our family. You can see the fruits of his villainy for yourself. He decided he was not bound by his duties to the legacy of the greatest of our novators, Tisiphone Orselio, who led our house to prosperity for countless years. Foolish boy, the renegades clouded his mind. They sought to seize control of the dynasty before the sacred child had come of age and taken up the novator's throne. The interrogator looks from the unconscious Cassia to Theobald. I presume this Navis Nobilite house has reasons for treasuring the child, other than uncontrolled outbursts of warp sorcery. What might those be, I wonder? A young, immature navigator who likely hasn't even completed her training. Theobald interrupts him with an indignant shout. Enough! I will not have you questioning myself or my charges within the dominion of House Orselio. Well, I'm not going to attack him. What is the curse that has taken hold of everyone in this room? Theobald frowns. Curse? You do not understand the sacred gift given to our child. When the child is sad, we all weep. When the child smiles, we all laugh giddily. And if the child wants blood, the world turns crimson. The child's will is the will of the great Tisiphone, for she is the heir of House Orselio. And they call me dangerous with my witchcraft. Very well. Felik accused you of treachery, Theobald. Why should I trust your words? Defending myself before strangers. I never thought I would fall so low. The old man looks at the unmoving Cassia and shakes his head in resignation. If the child's life were not at stake... Hold on. Very well. I have no choice, or proof of my innocence. I can give you my word, as a member of the Navis Nobility, if the honest word of an honorable man counts for anything with you. I guarded this station against calamity and incursions. From without, to the best of my ability. I forced the wardens to strictly observe security protocols. I personally selected every servant. And I faithfully protected the child during the coup. Very well. What service do you ask of me? Hope glimmers in the navigator's milky eyes. Save the sacred child. Take her away from this station. I fear I do not have long left. A bluish rivulet trickles down the old man's chin, and he wipes the mutated blood brusquely away with his sleeve. You glimpse strange burns covering his flesh under his clothing. The slightest movement must be causing him unbearable pain. Save the child, and deliver her safely to Regent Aronto, acting head of the House Orselio in Corona's expanse. Rest assured that the reward will be worth your effort. I know we came here for a navigator, but after everything we've seen, I've got some reservations about this girl. Magenta looks at Cassia, and a painful sorrow appears on her brow. Such a fragile thing with such a heavy burden upon her shoulders. You're talking as though you expect to die here. My service to the house is coming to an end. The wounds Felik inflicted on my flesh will never heal. I am dying. Praise the throne slowly enough to see that the child is taken care of. I believe I have made my choice. I don't think I have much of a choice, because without a navigator, I am going nowhere. Oh! I can leave Cassia behind and force Theobald to come serve as a navigator. No, I am definitely taking Cassia with me. Cassia shall come with me. Good. That is good. The old man nervously licks his lips. But do allow us to say our proper farewells. Yeah, navigators don't exactly grow on trees. Theobald coughs up more bluish blood. It stains the armor plate on his chest.
Child, it is all over now. It is over.
Oh, I interrupted the voice acting.
What happened? You. I remember you. Have you come to save us?
Child, please, listen to me very carefully. One last time. You will now embark on a voyage with this lady to rejoin the house and its regent in the Corollas expanse. I will not be able to accompany you on this journey.
No, not you too. Don't leave me alone in this violet-brown haze. You're coming with me. Your mistress has given you an order. Do you hear me?
Mistress, I fear this will be your only order that I dare to disobey. I am the keeper of Urak 5, and alas, I have less than a day left in me. Allow me to serve you one last time and honor my final duty to House Orselio. I will remain on the station and destroy the secrets it holds.
Oh, Theobald.
The crimson tears stain the Lady Navigator's white skin once again, but this time her power does not make everyone weep along with her. I regret that we had to meet under such circumstances.
What need have I for your regrets? I just want things to go back to the way they were before. What are you going to do to me?
Lady Cassia, I, Teophania von Valancius, rogue trader of the Imperium of Man, offer you my protection and grant you shelter aboard my vessel.
Do not fear what is to come, child. You are ready to guide any vessel. I know this because I taught you myself. And it is difficult to imagine more worthy company than a rogue trader. But remember, your safety is of paramount importance. Get to the Great Regent and fulfill your destiny.
As a Lady Navigator of House Orselio, I accept your gracious offer of protection. Please, take me to your vessel. I can no longer bear the pain of this place.
Well, we have to take her aboard. Let's leave Idira behind. Right, let's have a look at her. I guess she was the companion, so killing Felix didn't mess things up for me. Okay, she is dogmatic. She is an officer. Oh! She has finest lasting impressions. Nice. Unknown origin homeworld, navigator, flagship abilities, voice of command, bring it down, finest hour, little Astaire. All creatures in a cone in front of the navigator suffer from 11 to 14 damage. Must also pass a willpower resistance test or become stunned. That's well sick. Oh man. Nice. Let's see about her equipment. We can do better, I think. So she has her staff, Staff of House Auxilio. Is that identical to the one I had? They're identical. Okay. I guess this one can go to cargo then. So she has the staff. Seems like it doesn't have a magic attack. Psychic attack. So it's crazy. I actually think the Inquisitor shot Theobald in your playthrough. Wow. We are going with a Mazoa pattern sword, and for your pistol, I mean a regular auto. Oh, a scrappy auto pistol actually hits harder than a regular one, but has significantly lower rate of fire. So yeah, I think we want the scrappy auto pistol. There we go. Armor. What do I have? Do I have anything that beats an armored body glove? I have an improved armored body glove. That's better. Do I have anything that beats that? Probably not. No. Then I will give her the commander cloak. Someone else gets the tactical goggles. I think you get... Yeah, you get the tactical goggles. And then I don't think anybody gets the helmet. Can you get the helmet? Yeah, you get the helmet. But we don't want to show that. I was inclined to agree because of that whole scene of people crying because of her. She seems hella dangerous. Yes. She does definitely seem dangerous. But you know what? I like her. So all these notes. Can I not add that to cargo? Guess I'm gonna have to drop them. Keep that, keep that. Like her best while carrying a gun for reasons. Okay, so there we go. The painting was rendered by several different hands. The timid, uncertain lines are interlaced with rough and furious strokes coming together in arcane shapes. No one appears to be living in the cage. Somebody still fills the trough with dried fruit and fresh water. Okay, so I guess we are just getting out of here. Ooh, I see goods. Goods. Right? Going to head back to... Actually, I can't level her up on the ship, so we're gonna level her up before leaving. But we have ads starting in just a minute. And if I snooze them, I don't think that will be enough time for me to do the leveling up. So we're going to take the ad break. I'm going to run the ads, go use the bathroom, and then we'll come back and level her up. So don't go anywhere. I will be right back. Guys, it happened again. It happened again. I went to pee, and on the way back, walking through my hallway, I tripped and fell and landed in the kitchen. And as I landed in the kitchen, I smacked into the refrigerator, and one of these fell out.
Gotta unleash the beast with monster energy.
Perfect timing, Nittler. Alright, let's see what this little lady has got going for her.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Okay, characteristics. What do her characteristics look like before we do this? She has... Oh, that's not her. Pretty basic, weak strength, decent fellowship, good perception, good willpower. Got it. Monster combo. So we definitely want to take fellowship. Oh, look at that. She has some special navigator. Any source of warp damage. Ebb and flow. Oh, interesting. Yo! Okay, that seems really good. I think I'm gonna go for Eye of Oblivion. Guide of Souls is good too. Ooh, that's really... I think we're gonna go with that. Whenever the navigator uses a navigator power, veil degradation is reduced? Oh. Wow. Oh my god, there are some wild talents here. Holy shit. She's like fixing the ozone layer of Vale. Yeah, I guess. She's just a stabilizing presence. Sadly going to bed right about now. Alright, Niddler, sleep well. Thanks for hanging out. I think I want to take Mind over Matter. Keep her alive. And then we take a regular talent where we can go and get another one of those. Yeah, I think we want to mainly lean into the navigator thing. So now I'm gonna take stable roots. Characteristic, we're gonna take another 5 fellowship. Now we get an ability. Ooh, Glimpse of Fate is great. Is that a psychic power? No, it's a navigator ability. She's not a regular psyker. Held in my gaze. God, that's good too. Notch of Purpose. Yo! Oh. Well, I've taken a talent so that all her navigator powers reduce Veil. I want Glimpse of Fate. Seems really good. Another common talent. See this one, Stable Roots. Whenever the navigator uses a navigator power, Veil degradation is reduced by -1. And then the next one we want to take, we probably want to take Unnatural Allure to gain more bonuses on the officer stuff since she's an officer. Let's give her Inspire Courage next, I think. I'm going through the process of leveling her up, but considering that our main character is also an officer, I don't know how much we're going to use her. Gonna give her Lore Warp because we might not have Adira around when we're using her. Extra damage. And Voice of Command automatic. Let's gain this one, I think. And then more Lore Warp. More willpower, yes. And for this one, let's look at these. to this one, Eye of Oblivion. That seems amazing. And we stack up more willpower, I think. There we go. She is now level 11, just like everyone else. Have you ever played the Divinity Original Sin games? I tried streaming the first one and I didn't like it very much. But I think I'm going to give it another try and try streaming it at some point in the future together with Zelaminator. Because I think maybe co-oping will add what I was missing from that game. Lord Captain, Lady Navigator, welcome aboard. The Sanctum Navis has been prepared for the communion ritual, but if the Lady Navigator wishes to rest in her quarters first. Your heart starts beating furiously, your breath comes short and choppy, and your fingertips tingle unpleasantly. You notice that Vigdis is shivering slightly, and the crew are glancing around in puzzlement, searching for the source of this sudden wave of unease. Without even looking at the Voxmaster, Cassia waves her away. First, I wish to speak with the rogue trader. Leave us. Of course. When you are ready for the ritual, please let me know. Two was much better. Only problem is you keep getting sidetracked. Side quests, getting stuck on something. I haven't tried 2 yet. I don't think I'm gonna try Divinity Original Sin 2 until I finish 1. I have this thing where generally I don't like to do sequels until I've played the preceding games, even if they're not super related to one another. Cassia sweeps her pensive gaze over Vigdis, then, lowering her lashes slightly, turned to you. What did you wish to speak about? After a few seconds' hesitation, Cassia lets out a small exhale and then raises her pointed chin. No voice acting, okay. I have not yet thanked you for saving me on the station. My thoughts were clouded with so much mournful ash when Theobald's heart stopped, but you acted honorably and did not exploit me in my wretched position, and for that I am immeasurably grateful. But now, Cassia throws back her shoulders, I am ready to go to the Sanctum Navis and perform the sacred rite. I require brushes, canvas, and the best paints you have on board, but no red. I shall ensure that all the necessary supplies are delivered to the Sanctum Navis. Cassia nods in thanks. I shall take my leave of you for the duration of the rite. I ask that you do not follow me. Few can survive the gaze of my warp eye when it is closed. Opened. Why did I say closed? Opened. God damn it. Oh, who do we have here? Oh, that's Vigdis. Lord Captain, I will oversee the open channel between the Lady Navigator and the bridge. May the Emperor's light help us all. The Voxcaster in the Sanctum Navis picks up the susurration of clothes, pious chanting, and the metallic clicking of implants. Then, the serene voice of the Lady Navigator breaks the silence. Initiating communion ritual. You hear the exultant ring of metal freed from its scabbard. Then, the stifled gasp of the Lady Navigator, the rhythmic drip of liquid on canvas, and the faint whisper of a brush. I get it. She didn't need red paint because the red paint was going to be her blood. Okay. I mean, that's gonna turn a dark brown when it coagulates, though. Maybe not. Maybe she has special blood. Who cares? I see violet vortexes lashing an ocean with a million flails, and umber shadows spinning over the surface in fiery dance. A storm rising above foaming waters, armadas drowning in the fog. The path from one end to another cannot be seen. And here, beyond the wall of glass, a daughter forsaken by her father yearns for her brother, and the sun's pale disk goes in tireless pursuit. Of her? No, of me. Its frozen rays lie that spring is here. The light is deadened. The great ruler is gone. The Voxmaster recoils at Cassia's words and accidentally snaps one of the cogitator levers. The panel beneath her fingers emits sparks and the Voxcaster falls silent. She quickly flips a series of switches and bows guiltily. My abject apologies for cutting off the broadcast, Lord Captain. I have never heard the warp speaking through a navigator before. The connection is restored now. It will not happen again. Voxmaster, see to it that you receive 5 lashes for this show of clumsiness. No. But I love that it's an option. Leave the Lady Navigator undisturbed. Soul-shredding screams drown out the Vox transmission. The servants in the Sanctum Navis are howling and shrieking like wild beasts, moaning in pain. Their throats roar from the strain. And then, sudden silence. The dull thud of dropping bodies proclaims their fate. It appears the servants were part of the Lady Navigator's rite, as it was for her predecessor. I will arrange for the bodies to be removed from the Sanctum Navis after the ritual, or what is left of them. Rogue Trader, I fear I have unfortunate news. Endless blackness has spread across the canvas, dividing what should be whole in two, and my sight cannot glimpse the light of the Emperor as clearly as before. I cannot turn around. My brush only draws me onward. The way is blocked. We hear a heavy exhale, rustling fabric, and metallic clicking. By the Emperor's grace, the ritual was successful. Your vessel's temperament presented a challenge. Its cold steel grip did not allow me to breathe freely even for a second. It was as if the depths of the ship housed not only machine spirits, but something other. Now I will retreat to my chambers to recover my strength. Send for me if you have need of me. Lord Captain, congratulations on acquiring a navigator. Please spare me a few moments of your time, as there are several matters that require your attention. First of all, I wish to report on the condition of the station Urak 5. Regrettably, we arrived too late to evacuate the residents of the station. The warp disruptions affecting Urak 5 twisted the bodies and minds of its attendants. The corruption failed to affect Lady Cassia, thank the Emperor. The navigators are trained to resist the Immaterium's pull. I would also like to remind you that Governor Medine is still waiting to talk to you in his command center. I am flying out to meet with the governor immediately. Prepare the shuttle. Of course, Lady Captain, or Lord Captain. And that is what we are going to do next time. I'm going to go to Rykat Minoris, speak to the governor, and then we are probably going to visit the prison, which I don't remember which of these it was, but I want to do everything in this system before I leave it. But yeah, that is going to be it for tonight.